Ladies and gentlemen, it is Ian Torchetti. Thank you again for coming to yet another episode of the Hot Seat. This one is going to be brought to you by the letter M, not because of the content, but because M stands for motivated in this instance. We can also bring up the letter H for hustle, because the individual in the hot seat this evening is the embodiment of both motivation and hustle. Good sir, if you could please introduce yourself to the rest of the universe.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Oh, yeah. It went out for a second at the end.
Many apologies. If you could reintroduce yourself to the universe, because for some reason my
Absolutely.
mic went
Sorry
dead.
about that. But yeah, my name is Brent Trey Sands. I'm the writer and creator of Impound Comics, based out of Sacramento, California.
That is so cool. Yeah, I've been seeing you pop up on the feed periodically, and you've been picking up steam. You've been picking up speed. And a lot of people have had your back as of late. And, you know, you just recently celebrated, would they call it Impound Day or Impound Comics Day?
I call it Impound Day. I think both was kind of narratives out there. To some people, Impound Day might sound like they're about to get their car towed. So I think
that's why I was like, how are we going to phrase this?
Yeah, exactly. But I was promoting it as Impound Day.
Okay, well, congratulations on that. And
thank you.
Yeah, for those who have been following, like, not even a year ago, this was just an idea. This was just like word of mouth getting passed around by the kids, and now like the whole thing is a reality. How are you handling that?
Every day by day, honestly. We pretty much have found our groove. So it doesn't feel like an overwhelming amount of pressure. It's just kind of like work at this point, which doesn't feel like work when you love doing it.
Oh,
so,
of course.
A lot has been accomplished in a year, definitely, more than I even projected. And we're just working on trying to add new things, trying to figure out better ways to expand, lower our costs, and make it into, the universe we know it can be.
Very cool, very cool. So, I guess we could get this started with just how did it come to be? Like, what really got Impound Comics going? Because the last time I knew of a comic that was connected to a comic shop, it was like The Tick with New England Comics.
Mm-hmm. So you're asking, how did the store come about?
Oh, just the general idea. I mean, did the store come first, or did the comic come first?
No, the comic came way first. The store has only been here 3 months. So the way the store came about, there's another store in the same shopping center that we're in that's called Get a Clue. And when we released Impound 1, we did the release at their store. And this general area of where we are is right in front of the Sacramento Kings Arena. It's probably the most established or upper echelon of our city, definitely the heart of it. And the people who own this area or manage it seen us at the pop-up. And then we reached out about getting a kiosk, like kind of in the middle of the mall type of deal. And then when they really went and researched and seen what we were, they offered us a space. So it wasn't a plan of mine to have a store. It was more their idea, and we just kind of had to accept the challenge and get ready for it, They gave us an incredible deal, a deal that they wouldn't give to most people. But it was just more of the fact that they're the Sacramento Kings, we're the Sacramento superhero, and it just made sense to partner with us.
Yeah, I can see where the smart money is on that one.
Yeah. So they're really invested in us for the future, trying to incubate it into, they've seen the entire vision that I've had since the beginning, basically.
Okay. So that's the germination and the birth of the store. How did the original comic come about?
The original comic came. I always been a writer. I never wrote comic books though. The I was inspired a lot by the Black Panther movie. The director of that movie went to college with me, and I think just watching his success and the growth of that made me want to do a comic book because I kept writing movie scripts, not being able to get them funded, and I figured maybe we should just go back and build up the audience this way, and then still hit that goal of which is the movie.
I mean, in a weird way, that is a way of building interest in the product. That's how 28 Days Late, or 30 Days of Night. That's the one I'm thinking of. That's how 30 Days of Night ended up getting its audience finally. It was originally a movie script, and then they said, well, no one's biting. Let's show them what we intend. It was like a long pitch, for lack of a better term.
It's a longer route, but it's probably the better way to go about it.
Yeah. That way you also specifically get what you want out of it as opposed to hoping that they translate what you're wanting.
Mm-hmm. And when you come to the table with an audience, you can negotiate with the studios better, versus them taking a risk on a product they don't really know what it's going to do.
Exactly. If you're 10 to 26-year-olds are the ones picking it up, even though the studio was hoping you'd get those over 35s, hey, you have an audience, just pull to them and you never know what's going to come. I mean, to this day, I'll watch a Ninja Turtles movie for crying out loud,
exactly.
Whether it's R-rated or PG.
Right, me too. And a lot of Impound was inspired from Ninja Turtles as well.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so I have a character named Seraph, was a very popular character who was inspired by the Foot Soldiers. And then the Ninja Turtles was probably my first favorite thing as a kid. So there's a little bit of that in there. But Impound is kind of a melting pot of like all of my favorite things.
I mean, work with what you love, right?
Exactly. Makes it more natural.
Oh, I mean, there you go. So, was this going to be a self-contained kind of thing, or was Impound going to start your own universe? Like, were you looking at different books? Were you looking
Originally, Impound was just going to be Impound. It wasn't even meant to be a universe. It was just supposed to be a story about him and his journey, and that's it. And then the character Seraph, the same one I just told you about with the Foot Soldiers, people liked the way he looked so much, I ended up having to give him a name, give him a backstory that was more than what it was originally. So then his series began. And then making like the app game, I had to add a big villain. And then kind of the idea of Decimus, another character in my world, was born, which is based in outer space. And then it just kind of became a universe organically. But it wasn't a plan in the beginning. It kind of just came like a demand.
Well, that's very cool. For those, because the collected channel here also covers the mobile market. Not many people do that. Which systems, which mobile will the game be on? Is it iOS
well, the game's
or what?
already out, but it's a mobile game, so it's called Impound Vengeance, and it's on Apple and Android.
Okay.
And when you play it, you'll see a lot of that first Ninja Turtle game in that game as well.
Oh, awesome! So you're talking like the arcade beat 'em up?
The arcade version, yeah.
Nice.
So the 2D game. So kind of like in the street, up, down, left, and right, villains are coming. But it's set like a wave game.
Oh, okay. So there's lots of gauntlet style survival where they come at you, you don't go looking for them kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Like Call of Duty Zombies.
Oh God. Oh God.
Yeah. And as the higher the wave you get, more start to show up, and you just try to make it last as long as you can.
Yeah, that should be rather interesting.
Yeah.
Now, what will the intended audience for this be? I mean, obviously it'd be great if anyone and everyone picked it up and enjoyed it, but like, were you going for a younger audience? Were you going for an older audience with like very detailed storytelling, tackling issues, or was it more classic storytelling and you hoped to bring in the older stuff once the kids were like, hey, yeah, this is great?
Well, it's more mature. It has very in-depth stories that a lot of kids won't understand. We try to break a lot of stereotypes in these books. We try to, and we do it indirectly. It's not the plot or anything like that, but we definitely reference things that adults would understand, or at least people. I look at it like it's middle school and up.
Okay.
We started another series called Superhero Daycare that I look at as our children's books or for younger kids, and it's the same characters but like different relationships, different meanings, more educational. But it's definitely a more mature book.
Okay, so like Superhero Daycare would be Muppet Babies, where Impound
Exactly.
is the Muppet
It's the
Show.
Rugrats or superheroes idea.
Okay. Hey, that's smart. I mean, get
Trying
you.
to attack different markets.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Go for the audience in the safest but smartest way to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so dream scenario. We're 5 years in the future. The next thing about Impound is about to happen. Dream scenario, it's going your way. What do you want the next thing to be? We're 5 years in the future.
A series or a movie at that point. I mean, that's a movie or a series is kind of our goal right now. Like that's what we're trying to prepare for. We're shooting a trailer, like a live action trailer this month, and we're looking for funding to try to get the budgets to get those type of projects, and even if we have to self-fund them, and it can go either way. After we're going to do a massive Kickstarter campaign, and hopefully the brand is established enough that we can go full movie. If not, maybe we'll take a step back and do an animated movie. We'll just see where we are after that is completed.
Well, I mean, oddly enough, animation's coming back, and a lot of, you're bringing up crowdfunding. A lot of crowdfunding has actually been doing a lot better. Shows like Has Been Hotel, they may not have an actual, like, quote unquote channel or service that they're on, but, YouTube has picked up a lot and been considered a legitimate source.
Right, absolutely. So yeah, that's the goal. Is hopefully we're already having things released in 5 years. It is just more established. There's still a lot of work we have to do. There's still a lot of stories we need to tell. A lot more we need to increase on our merchandising. We're doing our first run of action figures, but they're more statue based. We need, just making everything better than it is today. That's just really the goal.
Okay, you're talking about more statue-based. So you're talking like the later Todd McFarlane series style, where they're like plastic statues, just beautifully sculpted?
Exactly. So they're not like the joints don't move, things like that. They're more like small statues, more than actual action figures. But that's just the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have faith that something like this could be successful, or easily successful overseas? Like, could you see a manga adaptation of this? Could you see
absolutely,
like an extension within the UK of,
Yeah, absolutely. It's not to speak for the UK specifically, but like the same character. He is from the Philippines. His story begins in the Philippines. I definitely can see the audience going in that side of the world. We already get a lot of people responding from Brazil. I don't know how that came about, but we do. So it's already been showing interest overseas, or not. Brazil isn't overseas, but you know what I mean, outside of the U.S. market.
Yeah.
So absolutely. I want to tackle all of that.
Hey, any market's a good market, but
Exactly.
that's really cool. Okay, you bring up the Philippines. I do have this question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe a writer or artist, as long as they respectfully do their research, even if they are quote unquote an outsider of a culture, if they legitimately do their research, are they allowed to dip a little more into a culture, or should they at least have a quote unquote advisor?
I mean, if you do the proper research, I look at it like this: if you're telling something that's fictional, it's fictional. So yeah, you should do some research to tie that in. But it's different if you're telling a true story about someone else's culture, I believe. But as far as for me, the reason why I chose the Philippines is because the illustrator Saraf is from the Philippines, currently lives there now. So it was easy to do what you're saying, because like buildings in his book are actual buildings where our illustrator lives by. Um, we definitely did a slight crossovers with Tagalog. And yeah, he was the reference. He was the reference, the point of contact to the Philippines this entire time. So in our case, we have that. So, and
Yeah, slight edge.
yeah, exactly. And I do think what you were saying still is right, because that's the only reason why I decided to make him from the Philippines, was because I had someone who could help me with building that established in the books. I was gonna originally make him from Japan because he has like a ninja look, but I didn't know anything about Japan. I didn't know what it looked like. I've never been there. And him being from the Philippines is why I decided to make it from the Philippines.
Oh yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, work with what you have, work with what you know, and also, I mean,
And that was a big part of it. And also, when I took a step back, where I live in Sacramento, we have a massive Filipino culture. Um, so we have a huge population of people from the Philippines in Sacramento. So it ended up being uh, a double win on the fact that he was from the Philippines and could establish it correctly, but it also brought representation for people in my city that are from the Philippines as well. So they also have like their hero in our world.
yeah, like off the top of my head, I would love to say I've got like the ultimate comic knowledge, but I can't think of a Filipino hero, villain, even a supporting
Not that's
character.
established. Yeah, not that's established in our culture.
Yeah, like
Not in the U.S. So I couldn't think of one either. So that's
yeah,
what made it.
yeah. I'm even trying to think like Dark Horse or Image, and
Yeah,
yeah,
and then so like people like now his like the whole Sarov series, people will come in and say, "I heard you guys have a character from the Philippines." So we'll say, "Yep," and they just buy it. They don't even care. Just off the fact that that's just a new representation for them.
yeah. But thankfully, you're still
So
trying to do a positive representation. I mean that helps.
right. Well, yeah, exactly. But you still see his face as well.
Yeah.
It still shows him as a kid, and Saraf more is a villain. He will have like anti-hero at some points, but heroes also emerge from the world, from the books that he came from.
Okay.
Can't go too in depth on that because I haven't revealed it yet, but they're coming.
Oh yeah. No spoilers. I never want someone to spoil their product just for a click.
Right.
Whoa, wow. Okay, very cool. So like you really do like have an audience in mind, whether you meant to or not. You're like, oh, boom, these people finally, like this group finally has some representation, and we get to help out with that. Because like I said, I can't think of another Philippine character off the top of my head, even if they were like part British, part Philippine. I can't think of one.
Yeah. Me neither.
Yeah, so that's really cool. That so you got this going. Let's think about parallel world. If Impound didn't exist and you had an opportunity to work on an established character, who would you love to have slid across the table for you? Like, we want you to pick up the reins. We want you to be the guy to continue this saga, this story, this franchise. We want you to work on insert title here.
You're saying someone who I would like to write Impound, or are you talking about playing him like an actor?
No. I'm saying like in this scenario, Impound doesn't exist. You're being trusted with an already established comic brand. Like, you know, we want you to work on the next Mask miniseries or what have you.
So who would I like to work on?
Yeah, like a dream offer.
I don't have one. I've never. I'm not the. I don't really want to write anybody else's story. You know, that's tough. My favorite hero is Hulk, like all around the board. Like that's probably my favorite character. But I've never had a desire to write anything about him. You know, I kind of enjoyed just being a fan of it. I kind of just, you know, I wanted to write only original stuff that 100% comes off my brain, and I don't have to worry about keeping his image or his writing up that his current fans will approve of. I don't really want that. You know what I mean? That seems like a lot of pressure I don't want.
Oh no, that's fair. And there's no wrong answer to this question.
Yeah. No, definitely. I don't think I want to write anyone else's story.
Okay, no, hey, that's fair, but still some love for the Hulk. That's really cool.
Yeah. So I mean, the Hulk inspired Green. I'm a big fan of Spawn. This is also kind of like a little bit of an Impound look. But I would definitely, if I picked, I'd probably more so want to do Spawn than Hulk.
Ooh, okay, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you know, he's more of a mature reader character anyway, so.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely would like. He's more dynamic to who he is, you know.
Oh yeah.
Hulk is simplified, you know what I mean? But that's why I love him.
Hey, I mean, sometimes the simplest stories get the most material out of them, but
yeah,
you know, hey, all that matters is who's got the pen in their hand and how they handle it, right?
Right.
Well, still, I mean, I can't wait to come across more from Impound. Like, obviously you have hard copies of the book. Is it going to be able to get out to other stores? Would it be one of those that like we have to find online?
We have all of them in our store. We're starting to get into other comic book stores. We're in a couple. We do have digitals online on our website, and we also have audiobooks. From the new one we just dropped, Impound 3, we haven't released that audiobook. We were releasing them the same day as the book, because we kind of had the strategy that since we're newer, everyone wasn't going to just buy, and I wanted people to at least be able to see if they liked it. So we did a lot of free platforms as well. But now I think we're at the point where I'll still add stuff to free platforms, but later, if you want to read it when it comes out, you'll have to purchase either digital or the physical. But I'll still release audiobooks later up the road.
Hey, that's fair. And heck, I mean, you know, if you get the reaction you want, I could totally see kids doing fan dubs just to get more circulation going. Which on one end, kids don't just fan dub to fan dub. If you were to do it, please help spread the message. You know, send them to the original link. Exactly. I'm not condoning even light piracy.
Yeah, right.
By all means, get the product seen and heard, but go within certain channels. You know what I'm trying to say. Oh my God.
Absolutely.
But like with the groundswell of your product, you went through crowdfunding, right? Or did you go through more old school routes like actual like live fundraisers? Did you go to other Comic Cons and and get people interested that way?
I couldn't go to Comic. I'm like echoing. But I couldn't go to Comic Cons because of the pandemic. So when we launched, there weren't any Comic Cons, there weren't any events of any kind. Most of it was self-funded. I did do Kickstarters, but I kind of did them. The first one I did just to see what it would do, and I think we probably only raised maybe $2,300. That was before Impound 1 came. And then I did another one when Impound 2 came out. We raised like $7,000. But a lot of it was just from self-funding for me, man. Selling and reinvesting. But we didn't get to do our first con until maybe 2.5 months ago.
Oh, wow.
We did a SAC Anime was our first con. And that was, like I said, the reason was because there weren't cons. Because we were in a full pandemic when we launched.
Yeah. Well,
so we've done 4 to date.
So you have legitimately built this almost by yourself.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
Absolutely.
This episode also brought to you by the letter G for grind.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah.
But yeah, we've probably in total in the year we've had 9,000 in crowdfunding.
Wow.
And that helps obviously.
Yeah, no, you still got interest. You still got. I mean, 9,000 isn't something to sneeze at by any means.
Yeah, exactly. But like the books were already done before I did the Kickstarters.
Okay, which is a safe and smart way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't like use the Kickstarter to get the book done. You know, it was more. I used it more like pre-orders.
Yeah. Get the drop a little blood in the water. Get the reading piranha ready.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I haven't done a Kickstarter since. We just do the pre-orders because I kind of didn't like the idea of. I like Kickstarter, but it takes a lot of work to get a good amount of funding. It's not like as like viral as people probably think it is, or like if you have something cool, it just works. You still have to really grind. So I kind of didn't see the purpose to spend all my time telling people to go to Kickstarter when I can just tell them to go to impoundcomics.com. So I kind of fell back from that. And then giving us the store, people just pre-order them as they come in. And it's felt better, if not the same results, with less effort of trying to force Kickstarter down everyone's throat, But
very true.
For this, like I said, the movie trailer, we're running a Kickstarter, but I think that makes more sense.
Yeah, that it seems to work a little better for film.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the whole point of especially for trailers and like the pitch type of thing.
Exactly.
Which, hey, I mean, hopefully that does work.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. But yeah, okay, so you've got your 5-year plan, you've got an audience, you've got a building. I mean, there are a lot of people who, with their book, they're operating out of their own house or their garage. You've got a legit building to work out of. You've got a lot of support, and you inadvertently possibly have a Hollywood connection, which, like, that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we pushed the whole line of Sac's First Superhero, and Sacramento is just a type of place that is a very, very supportive city of its own stuff, but we don't have too much. So we have a big MMA culture that for some reason gets swept under the rug in Sacramento. I don't really understand why, because we have world champions, or people who were champions for a certain amount of time. We have Uriah Faber, we have Cody No Love, and I think their journey of not being praised in the city the way they should inspired me to make Impound an MMA fighter. Trying to shine a light on that, So, but yeah, the city has been fully supportive. Like I literally have every media outlet, run stories on every book we release now. Like it's an actual thing. So that's really cool.
Yeah, you've got this as a reality. This isn't wishful thinking at this point. Like this is part of
It's part of the city.
Yeah, birds fly, fish swim, impounds from Sacramento.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, that is so freaking cool, man.
Thank you.
This right here, folks, goes to show that yes, you put the work in, it will be rewarding because I mean, this man's doing it. You can do it too. You know, it doesn't matter what the idea is. You put in the work, it will help you. It will come to fruition. I mean, just our interaction alone. I kept stomping along. You kept stomping along. Our crass paws, our paths crossed, and you've got another little media outlet here, and I've got possibly the next stand. You know, maybe the next Milestone Comics.
Hopefully, man, that's the goal.
You know, branching out, getting a Philippines market. That's really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, very underseen group. Very unknown. Untested market. Don't want to say unknown. The Philippines obviously have existed for centuries, but an untested market, and they apparently like what they see.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But what is some advice you can give the audience? Like what is that creamy caramel nugget at the center of this success sucker that you have?
Well, I just at the end of the day, there are lots of companies or lots of comic series that look as cool or are as cool or maybe better than Impound. It really falls into the promotion, though. It really falls into throwing as much stuff on the wall until something sticks. You know, we attack the internet. We're all over the internet, all the social media platforms. You know, we do face to face. We reach out to other people that we see can benefit by promoting with us, and we just try to turn over every stone. So, you know, we even have a drink in the club called the Dark Impound in Sacramento. You know, you never know how someone's going to find your brand.
Yeah, who else has that? I've never had a Spider-Man, but now there's a Dark Impound? Yeah, I'd love to have a sip of that.
Well, in Sacramento, I found out later it was a Sacramento drink. I thought it was everywhere, but it wasn't. But there's a drink in Sacramento that's very popular called the Black Superman, and it's like the strongest drink in the club.
Huh.
But it's called something else everywhere else in the world. So I don't know how we landed on Black Superman, but that's what it's called here. Everyone knows what that is. So that was my thinking of I needed a drink in the club, just not for profit, just to keep the name in rotation.
Dude, that's smart.
Yeah. So that's what we did, you know. And stuff like that, you know. We're doing charity events this holiday season. I'm on this phone with you, you know. I try to take every opportunity as an opportunity. You know what I mean?
No, I totally get it. I mean,
Yeah.
you even have a drink. I mean, how many other people can say they've got a drink as well?
Right.
I mean,
and it's
two
like
years
the most popular nightclub in our city.
Yeah. You know, 2 years from now, go into a stylist and they say, "Hey, we got a new kid here. He's really good with the impound. You want to try that for your hair?" You're like,
right.
Yeah. Yeah, let me see how that works for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, impound branded jeans. Got the new Jinko or Fubu going.
And so that's my best advice is promote like your life depends on it.
I mean, now
the best idea in the world. If no one sees it, it's not the best idea in the world.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays your life does kind of depend on it with the way everything's going. But hey, I'm glad it's working out for you. Congratulations on that. Seriously.
Thank you.
Oh man, this is I'm telling you, 5 years from now, it's going to be on the screen. I'll be like, yeah, I talked to that guy. Good people. Hopefully, I'd like to do a follow up down the road.
Absolutely. We'll have it anytime. Just let me know.
Excellent. I haven't done this in a while, but who would you like to be brought on the hot seat? Aside from yourself, like, have you seen anything coming up? Have you seen anybody that that needs a shout out? Who would you like to see pop up on the hot seat? In general, you can stick to comic creators. If you know of a stand-up comedian, if you know an animator, game programmer, publisher, whatever, man.
There's two other comic creators that I speak to frequently, and we share a lot of information, a lot of advice. And one is a brand is called Godhood Comics, and then the other one is called Concrete Comics. And Concrete's from Philadelphia, Godhood is from Atlanta. But I look at them like they're the us on their side of the country. You know what I mean? So they definitely have amazing work, great stories and illustrations. But that's who I would shine the light on as well.
I have been following Concrete. The other one again? What was the other one?
Godhood.
Godhood. I've been following them too.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We've done a lot of stuff together. And like I said, we've helped each other along the road. So it's been like, that's the one thing I like about the comic community is it's very supportive of each other.
Yeah, no. One group that has been both supportive and destructive has been the comic community.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I just had an interview with Skip from Blurred Over recently, and he's talking about how wonderful the comic community is, but unfortunately there are those toxic pitfalls too, with within the cosplay community of just, this kid happens to be black, but he's wanting to cosplay as Superman today.
Right.
Like some of that stuff's still dumbfounding.
It's became way too much about race.
It's
and not great work,
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, like, within the cosplay community, you have the best chance to show your interpretation of something.
Yeah.
So, let your artist flag fly. If you want to do a blaxploitation version of Batman, I would love to see that.
Right.
For
cosplay, I'm 100% okay with it. I am a person that's kind of against the whole turning the heroes black for television purposes. Because I just feel like it has become a clout chasing type of deal. I feel like it's just become a money maker to make Superman black versus promoting just a new black character that's underappreciated that also has an amazing story. It's an automatic billion-dollar button to push that versus, highlighting Blue Marvel or someone else. You know what I mean?
God, I haven't heard anyone talk about Blue Marvel in a while.
Exactly. And if he had a movie, it would do $1 billion as well. But it's just the security of, I was okay with Miles Morales, but I think they did it sooner. And I just like the whole idea. It's not really Peter Parker. It's like I like the Miles Morales, but I think it's becoming too common of a thing to either make a hero change them to ethnic or change their sexuality. It's kind of like, seems like the bigger franchises are just doing that as a trend versus, you know what I mean, just promoting the characters that are already meet those type of requirements, I guess. Not requirements, but you know what I mean. Like, already.
I follow. I do follow. Yeah. But I mean, you're also tackling stuff like Tim Drake and John L. coming out as a little different than the rest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, some people try to bring that up, which I love when everyone freaked out. Like, Superman isn't this. Like, no, Clark Kent isn't this. John L. is. But they also established that it was an original character. They just happened to be a legacy.
Right, right,
And I mean,
right,
and luckily within the realm of the Robins, I mean, they usually go on to establish themselves in a way. So
right,
yeah, when Robin came out as bi, it's not Dick Grayson suddenly going, huh, you know, Superboy always did seem like a suave, and no, it wasn't that. Nightwing has already established himself. The Red
right,
Hood has already established himself. It's Drake now that happens to, have a boyfriend. And even then,
right,
it's tastefully done.
right,
So
right,
I mean, you have that.
right. I know. I just still feel like with just because who the character is, there's a certain amount of clout that comes with that.
Oh,
I think
I
by
mean,
all means there should be characters of all orientations and all ethnicities. Um, but it's like they won't take the risk of establishing someone new with their origin from the beginning. It's, you can just say Superman and that will catch more attention and more eyes. You know what I mean?
oh,
It doesn't
true.
feel as organic is really what the thing is,
You don't believe it's genuine.
Exactly, exactly.
Oh, that's fair.
That's my issue with it. Not who he is, what he is, I don't care about that at all. Everyone deserves proper representation, but it should be genuine. And I'm not saying it's not. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's the vibe I get from it.
Well, from what I have seen with those particular titles, it doesn't seem like it smacked you in the face. I mean, with a lot of people, it seemed sudden with Tim Drake because he had been established to have a girlfriend, and so people are suddenly like, "Well, wait a minute." But if you actually go back, artists and writers have kind of hinted at this. I mean, there's always been jokes about Batman and Robin since day one.
Right.
And
Right.
when Tim Drake showed up as Robin, he seemed a bit sassier than
Yeah.
the others. He shows up, he's got a pole, he's mouthy because that's always the thing with the sidekick. The sidekick's always the smart aleck. It doesn't matter who
Right.
it is. Even when Superboy and Superman were flying around together, and he was like, "Don't call me Superboy. I'm the Metropolis Kid. I'm my own man."
Right. Right. The only thing I can say from it, it's definitely a headline.
Oh yeah, no, like no matter what, it is a headline, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
And
It finally
that
seems to be a
that
good
to me is
headline.
like with headlines, the internet will take it however they want to take it, and they know that.
Hashtag Superman loves Lois Lane.
Exactly.
That was
Exactly.
great when that happened.
Yeah.
It was like, well, I mean, we were trying to establish something, but you just got the ball rolling, and I can tell you right now, there's probably at least 4 fan comics right now working with that title.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Because I look at it like this. Us having a conversation, I told you my character Seraph is from the Philippines. If you read it, you would see he's from the Philippines. But I would never promote him as Filipino superhero. You know what I mean? Like that to me is more like I would, but I'm not like that. It just feels forced. You know what I mean? Like
He's a Philippine character who happens to be a superhero.
exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Is the genuine thing.
Yeah, there is nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. But it's going to continue with or without my opinion on it. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Still, can't wait to see the progress of this. And I'm glad that we're also having this dialogue about these other issues, because people keep wondering if it's something that's just like, oh, it's just a means of getting people interested, or if it's actually something that should be addressed. I mean, people have been trying to get representation done for years, and unfortunately, the ones that inadvertently succeed are the most heavy-handed.
Yeah.
When black superheroes or black characters in general were really getting established, unfortunately, certain things were what they fell back on. Like when Vulcan was introduced, he was first Black Lightning.
Yeah.
You know, he couldn't be Vulcan. You had to establish that, oh, it's a black superhero. Like, okay, does he have to have black in the name?
Right.
I mean, when War Machine was introduced, people were like, "Oh God, it's Black Iron Man," and thankfully they didn't go with that. They stuck to War Machine. Rhodes was well established, liked and respected, and he got his own stuff.
Right. And that's what I mean too. It's like War Machine, things like that. That just feels more. It feels more genuine. Spawn, Storm. You know what I mean? I'm not a guy that's like against. Sometimes like Black Panther makes sense because obviously that's an actual that's an actual animal. It's an actual and established group as well. So that made sense. But yeah, when you say Black Lightning, it's still cool. I love Black Lightning, but yeah.
I mean, on one end, it's a great title, but man, going back and reading that, oh God, the cringe. Oh God.
So that's more of what I mean is that it is what it is. He's still happy to at least have the representation. He's still cool. The Static Shock is definitely a cooler name for the Black Lightning hero.
Oh yeah, when Static came around, we're like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah,
this is very cool. He's struggling. He's kind of like the Spider-Man of that universe. He's the kid in a land of giants. And he's like, oh wow, I'm standing next to Icon and Rocket, and they're trusting me to help them solve this problem that Holocaust is bringing about. Like, wow.
Right. Yeah, Static Shock's cartoon in the '90s too was amazing.
Oh yeah, and it was handled well. It wasn't heavy-handed. It got the stories across, and it still talked about serious issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
You had that. You had Gargoyles. I loved that one too.
I love Gargoyles. The show that I think was underrated was Batman Beyond.
Oh yeah. Oh God, yes.
That was probably my favorite animated series in that time period, at least, like '90s, early 2000s. But I feel like that one is underappreciated.
Yeah.
I think everyone who has seen it universally loves it, but for some reason it just gets missed in conversation. You know what I mean?
Well, and the whole reason is because it's not like old man Bruce Wayne. It's some kid as That's what they look at. They look at, oh, it's Batman Jr. Like, it's not Batman Jr. He's an established character. Ironically, through legacy. Yes, he has to deal with the gang, the Jokers, but he's got his own enemies.
Yeah, exactly. This falls under that umbrella of Bruce Wayne. That's a big umbrella to be under.
Yeah, God, you have some. But thankfully, there have been 2 black Batmen.
Right.
Because you have Batwing, who operates out of South Africa of all places. Like, I heard about that and went, oh wow, that's gonna that's gonna be a political comic.
Right.
And then you had the Future States series where Lucius Fox's kid takes up the mantle and keeps the respect and the lineage and the legacy alive. I was like, that is amazing.
Yeah, I love stuff like that. I think it's fun.
Oh, and then when they introduced Signal as, a Robin, but not a Robin, like he's his own established character, but he's among the Bat family. That was cool. That was really unique.
Right, absolutely. I think it's fire, man. I think it's super fire.
Oh yeah, I like that more people are reaching out and trying, and like I said, I mean, even if it takes someone on the other side of the street to address or acknowledge a particular audience, still, a little bit of research, a whole lot of respect. I don't see there being an issue there.
Right. I don't either. I definitely don't.
Oh, well, I gotta say, it has been a privilege and a wonderful learning experience today having you on the show. And
thank you.
Yes, and thank you, folks. Again, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell to stay notified about everything that's going on. Stay on top of each and every episode. We're trying to keep these going weekly, of course. Sometimes we've had to double crunch and triple crunch. But hey, thanks to you all, that is still a steady thing. And once again, the man in the hot seat, if you would, please, loud and proud for all to hear.
Brent Trey Sands, Impound Comics. And, yeah, I appreciate you having me on, man, and we'll have to do this again.
Absolutely. I'd love to do a follow-up. So once again,
for sure, brother.
Yeah, once again, folks, this has been Ian Torchetti. This is the hot seat, and it's officially burnt out.